is Jennifer Conrad, and I'm the managing editor of the Arizona Scent magazine. Today, I'm here with a special guest, a friend of Arizona Scent magazine and the podcast, Steve North, the economic development director of the city of Show Low. Steve, it's great to have you back.
It's great to have you up here in Show again. Appreciate it.
I know, it's like anytime I get to come to Show Low, I'm excited because of everything that you have got going on over here. I know the last time I was here, and that was back in December. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I know.
Time flies, doesn't it?
Fun. 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And I know, like, when I last was up here, you were talking to us about a lot of the stuff that you're doing with the city, a lot of the stuff, like, I know, like, with the housing study that you guys have going on and the incubator. But why don't you tell us a little bit about what's been going on the last 6 months? I know there's any exciting businesses coming to the city. I know that the last time I think we talked, you guys said that you had an Amazon facility come through, and then so let's talk what's happening in Cholla the last 6 months. Excitement.
Well, of course, Amazon's up and running.
Okay.
And they're busy as ever, but employing a lot of folks here locally. We're appreciative of that. But we continue to recruit industrial businesses, particularly in the outdoor manufacturing area. Of course, retail is a big thing for us to recruit. We are working on some special projects, recognizing because we really feel like we need to grow our businesses from the ground up.
Yeah.
For a healthy economy and to help diversify our economies. We embarked on an effort to develop a business incubator here locally.
Yeah.
We started that project about a year and a half now ago, and as you know, these kind of things take a while. So we started out. We did a feasibility study. We wanted to make sure that it was going to be a viable opportunity for us, and it turns out it is. And so right about a year ago now that we applied for an EDA grant to do some planning for the incubator, and we were awarded $275,000 from the EDA to do that. So we're involved in a variety of different activities, from developing the business plan for the incubator, preliminary architecture.
Yeah.
We have to do a structural assessment of the building, because we are utilizing an existing building that's been vacant for, probably 20 years.
Wow.
The city now owns.
Yeah, well, that's amazing.
But hey, it's a 20,000 square foot building. It's a pretty sizable building that we shell that we have to start with. And so, as you know, it's much cheaper to renovate buildings
than to build
from the ground.
Yeah.
So we're looking at this as an opportunity to do it quicker and get it up and running much faster, and helping our small local businesses and entrepreneurs.
I mean, that's amazing, because I know that I've talked about before, especially with Sholo. It's being so far out. Yeah. It's I want to say the right words.
Well, we're isolated. We understand that.
It's a little bit tough to get people to want to do business. But when you do an incubator like that, when you help, when you have the people that live up here that are wanting to start a business, and you have the city of Shoal being proactive and growing businesses here to create jobs here, that's amazing, because you don't see a lot of the cities doing that. I know there's a bunch of the cities in down in Maricopa County that are doing that, but that's become, I think that's starting to become the norm now. A lot of the cities are starting to create their own business incubators.
Yeah. Well, part of our feasibility study was we really looked at what was here and what our strengths are, and we determined that there are really four areas of emphasis with our incubator that we think make a lot of sense. One being food services.
Yeah.
We have a lot of food-based entrepreneurs up here, because we've got quite a few farmers markets up here.
Yeah.
We've got one in Show, one in Pine Top Lakeside, one in Snowflake and Taylor.
Yeah.
There's a big one up in Winslow. This whole northeastern Arizona area has quite a few farmers markets, and they're all full. They're full of food-based entrepreneurs that are involved in a variety of different things, from baked goods to canned foods, bottle type food products, packaged food products, a variety of different things. So we really think there's an opportunity for that here.
Yeah.
And to help nurture that industry. So we're a commissary kitchen is a big part of our incubator. It'll be about a quarter of it, or more, a little bit more than a quarter of the total square foot of the building will be a commissary kitchen to,
So they can come in and cook their stuff.
yeah, it'll be all commercial,
Wow.
commercial equipment for food-based entrepreneurs to come in and utilize it.
Yeah.
And so they don't have to, they can rent it for the amount of time they need it rather than having to rent real estate
Yeah.
for a month at a time. They need it for an hour. They can rent it for an hour and move on. So
Yeah.
it's a much more cost-effective way
Yeah.
to provide that space to our entrepreneurs.
Well, I mean, and I mean, that's just amazing. Like you're going to provide that kitchen. You come in, you have an hour, and you need to bake 100 items of goods. I mean, they have that there because
Yeah,
just as I mean, it's costly to set up
it absolutely
to
is.
set up a kitchen, to set up a manufacturing.
Yep.
But for you guys to have that, I mean, and having that here, that shows to other entrepreneurs like, hey, if I want to get into the food based, be a food based business, I have this great great thing here for me to help grow my business.
Yeah, absolutely. And so the other side of it is the food trucks. We've got a lot of food
You have
trucks.
food trucks up here?
Oh yeah, tons of them.
Oh,
Well, they're going to the different events in the year
okay.
all summer long, and then actually we have quite a few that are operating up year round.
Oh, wow.
They find a location, they set up. Well, a lot of these guys are not really doing the food preparation the right way.
Yeah.
So this is giving us, we're going to provide them the opportunity to come in and do the same thing, rent the space when they need it,
Yeah.
prepare their foods for the day, and then move on and set up somewhere and operate. So just to make it much easier for them to do that.
Wow. I mean, food trucks in Show.
Yeah.
Who knows? I mean, there's so much great stuff happening here. How many food trucks do you see on a daily basis or around the community per event?
Quite a few, and there are actually quite a few that are pretty well known, and
Are they local based?
they're local based, but they're pretty well known. They do travel around the state, go to different events.
Okay.
Their food, some of them are really good.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm telling you,
that's amazing. So so we've got food based that you're seeing. What was the second?
So the other area is that we've struggled with for years up here is in the construction industry.
Okay.
We have a whack of tradespeople up here.
Yeah.
And so if you own a home up here, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
When you try to find a framer to do an addition on your house, or you're looking for somebody to renovate your bathroom or what have you, it's difficult to find a contractor up here that's not already too busy to do the work for you.
Yeah.
So we think this is an opportunity for us to cultivate that trades industry to help grow some more tradespeople, get them going. So hopefully we can have some more people up here to do that type of work.
Yeah, because Sholo is growing. There's a lot of development happening up
There
here.
is.
Yeah.
So we're really hoping that's going to help solve our shortage of tradespeople.
Okay.
And then the other thing that's I think is probably the most exciting piece of our incubator is we're looking at doing IT related industry with the youth.
Wow.
We all recognize that there are just loads of opportunities in the IT world, job opportunity, and most of those jobs can be done remotely. We have kids that are getting out of high school here, and they don't necessarily. A lot of our kids go down to the valley and go to school or get a job down there and leave the area. But there are a lot of kids up here that don't want to leave the area. So this is going to give them an opportunity to have a great job working in the IT world, but working remotely out of their homes or So we're part of that incubator. We're going to be growing those type of businesses.
Okay.
In the IT world.
It's anything like IT, like web security,
all of that stuff, and with particular emphasis on our kids coming out of the school businesses.
That's really cool. So like right out of high school, they like I want to study, or I want to study, or like IT, or I want to be like a
going to cybersecurity or whatever. Yeah.
The incubator.
Yeah.
What are some of the programs are you planning on bringing with that incubator to help with that?
That's yet to be determined.
Okay.
But we're also part of an incubator system is not just providing space to the small businesses, but it's providing the necessary support. The local SBDC will be involved. The local community college, Northland Pioneer College, is going to be involved in it, in the incubator. We would have, and again, that we don't know what that looks like just yet because we're still in the planning stages. Yeah. But we're going to have that support available for entrepreneur comes in, need some space for a little bit, for a little while, some cheap space. We provide that cheap space for them. And the idea is they're not going to be in there for years on end. The idea is they're going to be in there for a short period of time, say a year or two,
Yeah.
and then move on as they grow, move on to bigger space out in the community. And so part of that process, we're going to provide the support. So they're going to need assistance with business plans, finding financing to scale and grow their business, finding employees, all of those different things. We're going to have the support services right there in the incubator.
So it's like a one-stop shop. You come in if you need, like, I need help with, business plan, or I need like maybe access to venture capital. It's all right there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's amazing. Just for, for people to come in and to get the help that they need. Because a lot of entrepreneurs, like me being one of them, it's like sometimes you don't know where to start. You don't know where to start. You don't know, like, help me create a 5-year, a 5-year plan, or like what's my P&L, like me going to business, I learned what a profit and loss statement was. And so it's like having those people right there on hand to help you. I've never, the last, 2 or 3 years that I've been, going through talking with people around the valley, I've seen these growth in incubators just helping the small businesses, because and it's so great that the city is stepping in to help, because it's a win-win. It's a win for the city. Yep. It's a win for, the community, because mostly, like, I've seen is like, you have the Chamber of Commerce, or you have these other like small little business groups to help businesses, but you guys are taking it one step further. Yeah,
we are. Yeah, we just know that it's amazing how many business people, entrepreneurs are really good at what they do.
Yeah.
They're really good at with the product that they make and selling their product, but they just don't know, how do I grow this into a real business? How do I operate this as a real business? Yeah. And scale and grow it to where I want it to be. This is, we're trying to do what we can to help in that effort.
Yeah.
To help them along. As you said, it's good for all of us. Not just good for the entrepreneur. It's good for the city, because we're trying to grow this economy so it works for everyone. Yeah,
I mean, and I think that's the goal of everything. It's like, the city, and become a business friendly city, that we support businesses. Because I've seen cities, and not in Arizona, but like across the nation, that they are not business friendly. They will do, we'll just keep it at that. Just not business friendly.
Yeah.
But I just, with having the incubator, having the support of the city, like, it's a partnership. We're going to help you build, and you're helping you grow the community. Because when you have that partnership, it benefits it benefits everybody.
Absolutely. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
Oh, I would mention also the last piece of our incubator is, if you don't fit within those 3 different areas, we are going to have a piece of our incubator just for general use incubator.
Okay.
If you're an entrepreneur has some kind of a product, something not related to the 3 industries we just talked about, there's an opportunity for you to grow your business there as well.
That's awesome. So those are the 3 bits. So it's food, it's IT,
trades, and then general use.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's amazing. I mean, who would have thought that Sholo has a massive amount of food trucks? I would have never guessed that.
Well, I think it comes back to our the fact that we're the tourism industry certainly is still very big for us.
Yeah.
Obviously, because of where we are, we're at the gateway to the Arizona White Mountains.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of tourists come up here to get out to eat.
Yeah. Like me,
like you.
I'm here. Like when I come up, like even when I come up to show up for the day, like I will not eat. I will support, I will find a local restaurant.
Yeah.
And stay and eat. I mean, and like I was anywhere I go, like if it's Payson or if it's a Heber, I will always find a local place.
Yeah.
So I will, and I know that my tax dollars are staying in the community.
Yeah. We appreciate that.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, and I'm down in the valley. I always sing your guys' praises, because it's like, I was telling somebody the other day, I was like, do you know what's going on? They're like, well, what? I'm like, do you know that they are building an incubator? They're trying to have all these businesses come in. They have a film festival. Like, well, we don't know.
Yeah, we do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well. So what else are you guys? I know that we talked about the housing study last time I was here.
Yeah.
How's that going?
We completed the housing study.
Okay.
So we have some data behind. We all know, and you probably know this, most communities in Arizona are struggling with the same issue.
Yeah.
Housing prices have just gone up to the point where people are having a hard time affording housing in any community in Arizona.
Yeah.
We have found out through our housing study that, yeah, our housing prices are high like every other community, but we also have a deficit in the number of houses that we need. And so we've got some recommendations for how to close the gap on that deficit, fill that. And so we're in the process of doing that. I think I told you this last time. We developed some incentives
Yeah.
to incentivize developers to build housing specifically for our workforce. And so that's starting to get traction.
Okay.
We've got several developers that we're talking with now about different projects.
Okay.
And we're also working on a public-private partnership to develop where the city would actually be involved in the development of 150 multifamily units specifically for the workforce.
Okay.
So, I mean, we're looking at 250 units right now, potentially multifamily units just for the workforce. So that's pretty exciting.
It is exciting.
That's the area where we need the most help.
No, definitely. It's like, and you have so many people coming here, and you have so many people, because Show is amazing. And then I'll speak the praises. Northern Arizona is just so beautiful. It's so different from the valley, and people flock up here every year,
Yeah,
in the thousands. So, and that's the thing is, like, when people decide to move up here, and then the housing prices go up, the people that live here, that work here, can't afford to live. And like, I know, like with Sedona, like especially with the way how Sedona is growing very fast. I read an article somewhere that half of the workforce can't afford to live in Sedona. They have to travel 45 to 50 minutes to get to where they need to be.
Yeah.
And I think having that, that workforce housing, that's super important, because people want to work where they live where they work.
They do, and it's very difficult to grow an economy if you don't have a workforce.
Yeah.
So we really think that we need to provide some housing opportunities for our workforce to keep them here and provide them opportunities.
Yeah, and to grow an amazing city. So on hand, how many people do you have, like visitors come up here like per year?
We don't have a number on that,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Well, we may be able to back into a number if I look hard enough on Placer AI. I've got different subscription packages, like information. Maybe able to back into a number, but I don't know that number offhand.
Yeah.
If you go into the parking lot of Walmart or Safeway or any of our larger retailers any given day in the summertime,
Yeah.
they're completely packed. So the visitor traffic is having a big impact on the community.
And for everything amazing that you're doing for the city, are you getting a lot of any out of state companies that are interested in relocating?
We are. In fact, I'm talking to a couple of high tech related companies that are interested, and then of course outdoor related. We've been able to attract several firearms related manufacturers here in the last 5 to 6 years, and we've got others that we're talking with as well. Others are seeing some of the growth in that outdoor related industry, and so they're taking notice and becoming interested. So we're having discussions with them, just all kinds of opportunities like that. And then we're also, obviously we're real active in the retail industry.
Yeah.
Sales tax revenue is what drives our city.
Yeah.
We're very active there. TJ Maxx just opened.
That's awesome.
In Sholo about month and a half ago.
Okay.
Doing extremely well. I have no doubts that store is probably going to be one of their top performers when it's all said and done, with as far as opening goes.
Okay.
So, and then we've got Einstein Brothers Bagels coming out now. And then we're working on several larger retail boxes.
Yeah.
For Sholo. So we're excited. It's a great time to be here.
It's a great time to be, because just the growth to get at TJ Maxx. To get those Einstein Bros. To get those kind of restaurants up here, it shows the growth. It shows the direction where the city's headed. And I think it's amazing, because before that, you guys would have to travel to get to things that you needed to get to. Or where's the nearest like city where you would have to go to get?
Well, most people here, if you've got to go to, say, a Costco or a
Yeah.
Sam's Club or something like that, they're going to go to the Valley.
Okay.
Some may go to Flagstaff.
Oh.
You're 2 hours from Flagstaff here and you're 3 to the Valleys.
Yeah.
I think most people would just end up going to the Valley.
Yeah. So, I mean, but that speaks volumes. The growth that you guys are having, bringing those big box retail stores here, then you don't have to take that 3 hours
That's
to go
correct.
down.
Yeah, you can cut off some of that retail leakage that naturally your city has to deal with. So we're hoping to cut some of that off.
Yeah.
And capture more of that sales tax revenue, because that allows us, with more sales tax revenue, that allows us to do more of these types of things like the incubator,
Yeah.
provide different services for our community.
And that's amazing. I mean, the more that your community grows, the more that the opportunities are, the more people are going to stay and want to move up here. I want to move up here now. I'm like,
Oh, there you go. Hey, I got a realtor for you.
oh, wait, awesome. I appreciate it. No, like I said, I just love coming up here and talking to you and seeing what you guys are doing with with the community, especially like what's happening, in Northern Arizona, and just to hear that you guys are being proactive in, the housing, with the housing shortage. And I saw a study, just about where everybody, and we track housing. The Arizona State, we really track all of what's going on, and we're seeing it across the valley.
Yeah.
Just every little state. I mean, just the price, like the median listing price is going up.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
I mean, I know the housing, the square footage for like Paradise Valley, that just hit 1,000 per square foot. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Insane.
It's insane. Yeah. So it's like whatever. I mean, you've got so many people moving here that, where are we going to put them all? And I think that's like with the city being proactive and being able to say, hey, look, you're forecasting, you see a problem, 10, 20 years down the line, that you're going to be able to say, like, look what we've done. We're proactive instead of being reactive. We're being that proactive where we're trying to prepare for what's going to happen. So, I mean, and that's my next question. Forecasting. Do you guys do a lot of forecasting? Where do you see Sholo in the next 5 to 10 years?
It's hard to predict, but I kind of see us on a pretty steady rise. So I see that continuing.
Yeah.
I think with our incubator project, when we actually when that comes to completion, that's going to have a big impact. I also want to mention that I probably mentioned this to you before. We are working on a sports and event center up here as well.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning that.
And part of that is because we know the tourism industry is big for us. So we're always trying to diversify the economy. So we're looking more at the sports tourism area.
Yeah.
So that's really where this would come into play. In fact, we're getting a lot of movement on that project.
Okay.
We put out RFP out a couple months ago now for trying to get proposals from design build firms.
Yeah.
For that, we're actually down to a final 3.
Okay.
Should be sometime this month. We'll be announcing.
Okay.
And so we're looking at that as that's going to be up at Shola Bluff, which is it's an area up above, but it's kind of east of Shola, but it's inside city limits.
Yeah.
Obviously, but that was an area of planned high growth about 15, 20 years ago.
Okay.
That area was actually platted for about 3,500 homes at one time before the Great Recession.
Yeah.
In 06, 07, and everything kind of came to a standstill. So we're looking at that project. That's going to kickstart that development again, get it going. And we're looking at probably a hotel up there at some point.
Yeah.
And additional, and some retail up there as well.
I mean, that's amazing. Just so you're seeing, when you bring that development and start building things down the city, people are going to come. People are going to fly.
Right. And it's going to be a multi-purpose facility. So the part of it would be attracting youth-related sports tournaments.
Yeah.
So there's going to be some fixed volleyball, basketball courts inside to attract that. The travel leagues to come up from outside the area into the area, which obviously they bring money. They're going to stay in hotels and go to restaurants and all that. So there's going to be some benefit there. There's also going to be some fixed seating, so that we could bring in some events, musical events or theater or what have you in there. Then also an adjacent conference space so that we can attract outside conference type events, business related events like that. So it's going to be a truly multi-purpose facility that's we think is going to bring a lot of business up.
That's amazing. That's really great that you're just the forecasting, seeing like whatever you knowing like what's happening and being prepared for that.
Yeah.
Anything else that you want to tell us?
Trying to be as active as we can, get our hands in as many things.
Yeah.
And try to diversify its economy.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
I think it's starting to bear fruit.
Oh yeah,
I've seen a lot of things happen.
And last time I was up here visiting, and you got to hang out with Steve. Hanging out with Steve is awesome. I got to hear about there's so much that has happened in 6 months, and that's like when I reached out to you a couple weeks, I think it was a month ago. I was like, I want to hear like what's going on with the incubator. This incubator that you guys are going to have is going to be game changer for the city, and just like and basically in supporting the entrepreneurship. I mean, going around I visited a lot of cities in Arizona and talking to other entrepreneurs and other incubators. It just with the high growth that all the visitors and all the people moving out here. I mean, we are a city to watch. We're really active.
Absolutely. Hey, there's one other interesting aspect to the incubator project I would mention too, is Winslow is also working on developing an incubator project of their own. They're a little bit further behind. They're behind us. But we really look at it as we support their effort to bring an incubator in their community, and we're actually we're working with the same consulting group.
Okay.
And so we're looking at developing this a regional network of incubators.
Yeah.
That we're all partnering together. We all have different strengths, so that particularly with our food-based businesses, we're looking at creating a show as a packaging center for food.
Oh wow.
Food entrepreneurs, food-based businesses. Winslow would have their own strength. We don't know what that is yet, but it might be bottling or canning or whatever. So that everybody has each of them has their strength, and so the entrepreneurs can circulate around the whole northeastern Arizona region and go to the incubator that serves their needs.
That's amazing. Just the partnership between all the cities and the towns. Like you're really turning in northeastern Arizona into a place to be, like supporting each other.
Yep.
So I mean, to see the massive growth, because people are moving up here. A lot of people who've lived in the valley are like, I'm done. We're done. I'm like, can't handle the heat. I'm gonna come up here. It's amazing to see the growth of what's happening in northern Arizona. I think it's awesome. Steve, thank you so much for.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming up.
I love coming up. It's a vacation day for me, but I love coming up and just seeing like what's happening, seeing like what's going on in the city of Show, just to hear like all the great things that you guys are doing. And so I always tell people, Maricopa County, Phoenix growth, but you don't. And I tell people all the time is like you got to see what's happening in northern Arizona, what the communities are doing, but how they're trying to be proactive. And I think a better spotlight needs to shine on what you guys are doing, and that's what the Arizona Senate is trying to do. Is we're trying to shine a spotlight on what's happening in every single community in Arizona. And thank you for letting us be a part of that.
Thanks for coming up. Really appreciate it.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. And then Steve, before we go, if people want to know what's going on in Sholo, and if there's a business that would like to relocate, that wants to relocate up here or open up here, where can they find you, or how can they get a hold of you?
Well, the best way, I can give you my contact information. The best way, we have a economic development website, www.picksholo.com. That's the quickest way to jump on and find everything you want to know about doing business in Sholo. It's all there. If you want to contact me directly, my information's on the website. But you can call me at area code 928-532-4124, or you can certainly shoot me an email. It's north@sholoaz.gov.
Awesome. And Sholo is the place to be. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you
I appreciate it. And we're done.